Hi, and welcome to another episode of D-LinkTV Q&A. I'm Mike, and I'm here with Joe.
Hey, Mike.
And we're the guys who are here to take your questions and answer them right on the show. If you have a question, you can point your browser to www.dlinktv.com, and there's a little web form that you can fill out and submit your own question. So let's jump into the questions that we have for today.
Okay.
Lawrence in Charlotte, North Carolina, says he's trying to set up his DI524 router with DDNS, which is dynamic DNS, and is not sure what the server address and host name fields are for the DNS screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Sherry pop up a picture here for us to look at, and at the top you can see the fields that need to be filled out for the DI524, and at the bottom you see the same thing for the DIR655. Now, the difference being is the DIR655 has a drop-down list of server addresses already there. The DI524, you're going to have to put it in manually. So all it's really asking for is the server address for the service that you're using. So in your case, it was dynedns.org, so you would just put www.dynedns.org in there. The second would be the host name that DynDNS.org gave to you. So, that could be anything from, mine's Mike's DNS323.dlinkddns.com. So that whatever is provided to you by the service goes there, and then all you have to do is your username and password for the service. So there you go.
That sounds pretty easy.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. So, okay, so let's move on to the next question. Joe from Burlington, Massachusetts, wants to know if his DI624 has WEP 64-bit, 128-bit, or WPA for security.
Wow, that's a lot of acronyms again.
That's a lot of acronyms. So what are these acronyms first?
Well, WEP is Wired Equivalency Privacy, and it is an encryption scheme that tries to make your information not visible to other snoopers. And then there's WPA, which is a little bit more modern. That's Wi-Fi Protected Access. Much better than WEP. So if you have a choice between WPA and WEP, you definitely want to go with WPA. New routers have WPA2, which is even better. So you're trying to find the best and highest level of security that you can use on all the devices in your network.
Right. So, if all of your devices support WPA, well, that's the best thing.
Right.
But if you do have a device that requires WP, you can use that as well. And as you can see from the next image that Sherry's going to put up on the screen, the DI624 supports even WPA2. So you're in luck. All right.
All right.
So let's move on to Martin in Bettendorf, Iowa. Says he just viewed episode 19. Thanks for watching. Which is upgrade your router's firmware without changing your original settings. Of course, he's talking about episode 19 of the DIY, which I also do, the do-it-yourself stuff. And he wants to know if this procedure will work with older routers, such as the DI624, and going way back to the DI614 Plus. Yes. And the good news is that, yes, D-Link routers have had this feature for a very long time. So right now on the screen, Sherry will put up the interface for the DI614 Plus, and there you'll see where it says Save Router Settings. So that's a good feature that we've been providing for a long time.
Definitely.
So our last question comes from Tracy in Grand Valley, Ontario, and Tracy has reset a router to, which is a WBR2310, to factory settings, but doesn't know how to access the router to, make the settings what she wants.
Okay, that's a common problem.
So how you get to your router is by punching in the following IP address into your web browser: 192.168.0.1, and then that should bring up the interface for the login interface for your router. And since you've already reset it to factory defaults, the username is going to be admin and the password is going to be blank. So fairly simple.
Sure. And it's a good idea whenever you set up your router, write a few of these things down and put them where you're going to find them, because everybody sticks the manual in a drawer or a pile and it gets lost.
It gets, because you don't keep the manual for your router, handy. What I always suggest is just take a Post-it note and write the settings on the Post-it note and stick it to the bottom of your router.
There you go. Right where you need it.
Yeah, it's going to be right there. And if anybody has broken into your house and can get onto your network because they found that Post-it note, you're probably going to reset your router at that point anyways and use a different password and call the police. Yeah. So that's going to do it for this episode of D-LinkTV Q&A. Remember, if you have a question of your own, go ahead and point your browser to www.dlinktv.com and fill out the little web form, and me and Joe would be happy to answer your questions for you.
You bet. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.